We walk alone in the unknown. We live to win another victory. We are the young dying sons. We live to change the face of history. So be afraid, it's the price we pay. The only easy day was yesterday, so hear our voice. We have a choice. It's time to face it. We are one. In the year 2008, America elected its first African president, Barack Hussein Obama. In the streets, in the roads, in parks of America, people celebrated, believing that finally a descendant of slaves was elected to the highest office in the land. That the United States had finally and forever repaired the damage done by the slavery of the 18th and 19th century South. The long history of racism and bigotry, protests and riots, police crackdowns and machine gun spray-style discrimination lawsuits, could be over and social peace could be restored. Millions of Americans hoped all the cultural tension and stupid bullshit that has gone unresolved since the 1960s could finally, at long last, would finally go away, except this was never his intention. His election did nothing to erase the stains of slavery, because he was not an American black. He is descended from pure African stock on his black side, not from the mixture of African and occasional European genetic matter found in the American blacks. He is not one of them. Identifying him with the American black people and their tragic but inspirational endurance in history would be like identifying Queen Elizabeth with Bob Marley and other ethnic Jamaicans because she is their head of state. Complete bullshit. The fact that he is one half black is enough wool to pull over some people's eyes, but not the sharp person. They kept saying to us that this was the start of a new age for the United States. A foreigner and a secret Muslim in the seat of power, commanding our military and overseeing our union from the halls of governance. The White House had been infiltrated. Our country went from being in danger to being fucked. And we had fucked ourselves. When this happened, I assumed within months of Barack Obama's Maoist agenda's performance, the press would start to investigate the question of his citizenship more and more, and the story would slowly rise on the internet, newspapers, and blogs until it dominated the cable news outlets, forcing politicians to recognize the unconstitutionality of his administration and throw him out of office. When he launched his healthcare proposal, which in my mind should be called the Obama Death and Disease System, I believed this blatant socialist move would hasten his political destruction. However, like all true American believers who believed that wood could balance our commitments to the laws of man and the laws of God, I underestimated the manipulative powers of the Democratic Party and the liberal media. Truth is now constantly mixed with falsehood. Everything is murky and cloudy like Scotland. And like the fogs of Scotland Yard in the 1800s, there is an uneasiness. For a political Jack the Ripper was on the loose. BHO, Barack Hussein Obama's occupation of the White House, and truth was his victim. Everyone nowadays is so confused with what is real, what is bullshit. Everything is becoming deeply fucked up and our social structure is beginning to show the inevitable cracks and ruptures common to things which are built on collapsing foundations. Only our common belief in Christ holds back the tide waters of the human rage and indignation at the fucking of America over the last 70 years. And the complacency of the public, even in light of movements like the Tea Party or other religious groups which try to spread the truth. We are a nation of goats, chewing the cud, and staring cross-eyed. Hope for many of us seem to be raped beyond survival. You can only have your culture, your language, your people, your pride brutalized and sodomized like the filthiest whore in Bangalore so many times or she simply won't recover. Simultaneously in the last 2 years, there has been a steady increase in TV advertisements, billboards, and internet links about the Mormons. These public offerings have been part of a nationwide multimedia campaign to convince the American public that the so-called Latter-day Saints Church is politically neutral religious organization and that the Mormons are politically diverse people. And it has worked. 2012 has been the so-called Mormon moment. Their lies and satanic propaganda have convinced everyone that American Caucasian Islamism is actually just another Christian denomination. This is sheer and utter propaganda. Mormons are not Christians. They are part of a cult that follows the basic teachings of its founder, American huckster and fraudmaster, Joseph Smith. A phony treasure hunter, polygamist, and notorious liar from 1800s New York. Much of the Mormon vocabulary mimics the Christian lexicon. This is because Mormonism emerged out of Christianity, so there is an overlap in certain terms and ideas. However, these are only superficial appearances, for besides the similarity of terms, Mormonism is something entirely different, and yet the Republican Party has nominated Mitt Romney, a Wall Street businessman and former governor of Massachusetts, who is a Mormon, to be their presidential candidate. The Mormon versus the Obama Nation. Both of these candidates believe in quasi-Islamic theologies. The similarities between Islam and Mormonism when it comes to family doctrines and additional elements of theology are striking. And Obama's suspicious religious beliefs seem to be some sort of unholy blend of Indonesian cafeteria-style Islam, liberation theology, along with an anti-Christian venom. I have struggled these last 4 years, as millions of Americans have, to grasp the changes and devastation to our country that have occurred and occur every day in Obama's America. Going underground seemed like the only option, and there for 4 years I have worked, but for this occasion, at this moment, I believe I cannot avoid the public eye. I must urge people of my persuasion, traditional, Bible-believing Americans, who believe in the conservative values and are tired of seeing our families shit on by liberal elites, our television airwaves bespoiled with smut and harmful vulgarities, for the erosion of our Christian values and the patriotic principles that enabled our survival throughout the great crises of this nation. I ask you to deeply consider the fact that we cannot endure 4 more years of Obama. Mormonism may be the afterbirth of a satanic cult leader, but Mitt Romney did not convert to it as an adult. His family had been a member for many generations. Romney has been inculturated into this belief system. Whether or not he truly believes in the lies and deceptions of Joseph Smith, or to what degree, we will never know. Without his release of his tax statements, we cannot see a consistent pattern as to whether or not he tithes as is expected by the Salt Lake City religious authorities that have dominion over the Romney family. But nonetheless, Romney believes in the preservation of something more like traditional America than the bleak, multicultural, socialist bureaucratic tyranny dreamed by the radicals in the Democratic Party, headed by their fucking Antichrist, the closet Muslim, Barack Hussein Obama. What unites diversity is a common enemy. Mormons and Christians should not be friends, but in the darkest hours, when all hope seems lost and the light will not shine, the old saying is revealed as true, that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Thus we must see Romney in this light and hope that, with 4 to 8 years of his guidance, America's course can be corrected. Our immigration policy, our education policy, our lunar policy, the environmentalist government agencies, the homosexual coup d'etat in many state and local governments' social services and policies, and the cumbersome economic regulations that benefit Obama's friends and hurt the rest of us. Rather than burning up your vote in protest by voting for a no-chance, bullshit third-party candidate, do what you can to have a voice in the dark age of Obama, and cast your vote Republican, because next time submitting a ballot might not be enough. It may be your life. To my supporters, we must remain strong. Together we will work together to bring about the refinement of the internet with new Christian knowledge and traditional American values. This video may be freely distributed for educational purposes.